meet me. I said, we're going to this little town called Basildon. And we drove up to Basildon, and I signed them right there on the spot. Are you kidding? Klaus had nothing to do with Depeche Mode.
I'm sorry. Was he in diapers?
I don't know if he was in diapers.
Had you not seen the act before you went to Basildon?
He probably was in shul with his father, the shamus. That's what his father was. He ran a shul on Sunset Boulevard. Oh, no, on Wilshire Boulevard.
Hollywood Boulevard.
No, Wilshire Boulevard. Sinai Temple.
That's my
big
temple.
one on Wilshire Boulevard?
You're kidding?
No.
And Wilshire?
Yeah. Wilshire and Beverly Glen.
Well, Guy Oseary's father is the shamus there.
Not still.
I think so.
I don't think so.
No?
I think his dad moved back to Israel.
Oh, yes?
Yeah.
Seymour, did you see Depeche Mode playing in Basildon? Had you seen them playing before when you flew to London?
It was their very first gig. How could I have possibly have seen them before? Nobody saw them before.
So listen, that newspaper...
I saw the third gig of whatchamacallit, Morrissey and Johnny Marr's band, because, now there I was called. Jeff Travis said, get your ass over here. You're going to love this band even more than I do. And, in those days you could move quickly.
Why not now?
Yeah,
Echo and the Bunnymen, I signed them their first gig outside of Liverpool in a YMCA on Tottenham Court Road.
Oh.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
What are you doing in the YMCA? Don't have to answer that.
That was where the fucking gig was. And
Gymnasium.
and the opening act was a Teardrop Explodes.
Really?
And he was crushed that I didn't sign him. He wrote a book. He said, Seymour Stein picked them over me. I would have even today I would have picked them. I mean, Echo and the Bunnymen was one of the. I mean, they weren't as big, but they were the fucking best.
I think your Madonna signing story of being in the hospital that takes the cake, doesn't it? I mean,
It's a true story too. You know that. She'll tell you. She went to.
This guy was in the hospital. What were you doing in the hospital?
I was born with a hole in my heart, and I got endocarditis because I was, doing a little things I shouldn't have done, And so it was in those days you on a drip for 28 days, and Mark Kamens, I gave him some money to make some records, and he brought me Madonna. I said, "Oh, this is fabulous!" And then
He just died, yeah.
I know he just died, 57 years old.
And he was born a year before me. You know what? We're having a little one of my Tommy Boy violin parties, April 10th, Wednesday. We'll do a tribute to him. And Mark Fodiatis is DJing, Justin Strauss. And I'm gonna get one other person only playing vinyl, sort of a tribute to him.
I think I'll be in. I'd love to go. I was in constant contact with him. He wanted me to come down to Guadalajara to give a master class there. That's where he was living.
He was teaching there. Yeah.
Yes.
We know each other.
He was
I know we do.
He was a very good.
Talking a lot on the phone.
He's a very good guy.
About
Mark
bringing
Kamens.
Tommy Boy records out to-
What did he die from?
We should do Tommy
A
Boy
massive
30th
heart
anniversary.
attack.
Yeah, you were telling me.
I lost so many people this year. Unbelievable. The guy that taught me all about promotion, Pete Bennett.
He did it at
Pete,
Montreal
the greatest.
Jazz Festival.
Pete Bennett.
Was he one of your?
You still talk to Janelle?
big mentor?
Well, no, we grew up together. He was a little older than me, but he promoted the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Who, Elvis Presley. He was the greatest. Pete Bennett, Pietro Benedetto.
That was his name.
His
Yeah,
real
Benedetto.
name, Benedetto. Yeah.
Tony
You know what?
Bennett, too.
Richard and I open up our doors, and he says, "Hey, there's this kid. You got to see him. I'm bringing him down from Yonkers." So his name is Stephen Tallarico. I signed him up right then and there. You know who he was? Stephen Tyler. His
then
father came down with a gun and broke the contract.
Broke
He said,
the contract.
and I said, look, Richard. And Richard knew more about the mafia than me. So I said,
Why is that, Richard?
because he was. He'll tell you later. But so I said, listen, get out of here. I said, we put out the first record. It went number 3 in Italy. Because, they see the name Tallarico on the record. So so I said, give us another shot. He says, I'll give you a shot. So Richard says, Richard rips up the contract. because Richard had more experience, but
So you don't argue with a man with a gun.
no, you don't argue.
Yeah, that's not mob experience. That's just
It's
life,
like-
life common sense.
But so then I signed this band Space Hog, and so Steven Tyler said.
Somebody mentioned him on a
So
panel,
Steven Tyler, Steven Tyler, daughter married the lead singer in the band. Actually no, not the lead
Liv
singer.
Tyler?
What?
Her name's Liv.
Liv, yeah,
Yeah.
Liv Tyler. So marriage didn't last very long. So he says, he says, at least we got one thing in common. He said, Seymour Stein signed both of us. This is what he told, but they were a good band, Space Hog. But the brothers, it never works out. The Kinks, it never worked. Well,
Were these contracts like multi-record deals?
of course,
Well,
they were multi.
multi-singles with options for albums.
They were singles. There were no albums.
Got it.
Did you get options for albums in those days, or you just got singles?
Option, you got.
No, you got X number of selections, recorded
You would-
selections.
We thought we were bad when we were doing it ourselves, and we would get 5 options. When we went with Columbia, I mean, you got 7 options. I mean,
7
those.
singles before you had
No, you 7
7
albums.
albums,
Options are 7 albums.
That was the standard
There
deal.
we go,
That was
standard
the
deal.
contract
Go,
you could do, and it was an album a year.
An album a year.
But if
You could have 2 albums a year if you
But
wanted.
if you didn't do an album a year, the contract would extend until
Yes.
you did the album.
Until
So
you
it was
did
a
it.
7-year
So you have to
deal, but if you
deliver
go-
a certain number.
It could go for 20.
And what is it today?
Same.
You think?
5 to 7.
Really?
In California, you can only go 5. They made
Yes.
laws about how many you can go. But it's still based on an album, and nobody does an album a year except for Garth Brooks. Everybody else
One
does.
Direction.
One Direction, maybe 2 a year. You got to get them before you.
I think now you base it on number of sides recorded, and it's for at least with us, it's limited amount of time.